I think she may be coming here.
Incidentally, I have glanced. Don't go, Doctor. I may need you.
I was right.
Utterly inexplicable in the situation in which I find myself.
Stay!
Briefly, the facts are these. My father was an officer and an Indian telegraphed to me from London to say that he'd arrived, all safe, and directed me to come down at once, giving the Langham Hotel. I'd gone out the night before and had not returned. So I waited. Newspapers. Our inquiries led to no result. From that day to this, no word has ever been heard of my unfortunate father. Some books and a considerable number of curiosities from the Andaman Islands. Address in the advertisement column. That same day there appeared. They have been pronounced by an expert to be of a rare variety and of considerable value.
Your case is most interesting. Something else has occurred to you.
Yes, and no later than today. That is why I have come to you. This letter arrived through the post this morning, which you will perhaps read for yourself.
Envelope, please.
I shall be proud and happy if I can be of any service.
Oh, you're both very kind. I've led a retired life and have no friends whom I could appeal to. If I'm here at 6, it will do, I suppose.
Me is a mere unit, a factor of the problem.
Holmes, you're an automaton, a calculating machine. You solved it already.
I found on consulting the back files of the Times that Major Sholto of Upper Norwood, late the 34th...
It's a little past the hour.
It is up.
Why should somebody write her a letter now rather than 6 years ago? Again, the letter speaks of giving her justice. What justice can she have? It is too much to suppose that her father is still alive, and there is no other injustice in her case that you know of.
There are difficulties, but there are always difficulties.
Might like to see it, so I brought it with me.
The paper appears to be of Indian manufacture. At some point it has been pinned to a board. The diagram upon it appears to be the plan.
Sahib awaits you.
Show them in, Kit.
Servant, Miss Morstan. Your servant, gentlemen.
If we are to go to Norway...
My father, the late Major John Sholto, brought back with him a considerable sum of money, a collection of these advantages. He lived in great luxury. My very fearful of going out alone, and he employed 2 prize fighters to guard him. Williams, who drove you here tonight, was one of them. For some reason, he never told anyone. My father had a marked aversion to men with wooden legs. On one occasion, he actually fired his revolver at a one-legged man. Oh, yes, I remember we had to pay a considerable sum to hush it up. Then, suddenly, my father received a letter. It was obviously a great shock. What was... And from that moment on, he became rapidly worse. But one night...
When we were in India, my friend, a considerable treasure. As Morstan arrived home from the East, he came straight to this house.
Of course, but with respect.
I knew in my heart that he was dead. Glad he did not suffer.
You're very brave, Miss Morstan.
What concerns me now is the reason for this quarrel.
Of the treasure. half of which, at least, should be hers. Get him away! For Christ's sake!
My brother and I were much excited, as you can imagine, at the treasure my father had spoken, but try as we might, we couldn't find it. It was maddening to think that the hiding place was on his very lips when he died. We could judge the splendor of the riches by the chapelet that he had taken out. The pearls were evidently of great value, and my brother was averse to part with them, for between friends, he was a little inclined to my father's fault, and it was all I could do was to persuade him to allow me to send Miss Morstan a detached pearl at regular intervals so that she would not feel destitute. We were your trustees. That was the way I looked at it, although my brother did not altogether see it. Found the treasure. Hence my instant communicated, if not entirely welcome visit. Foot out, at the top, we found our father did the value of the treasure to be more than 500,000 sterling. Mrs. Bernstone. Mrs. Bernstone's the only lady in the house. Wait here.
Oh, Mr. Thaddeus, I'm so glad this day.
Hi, Mrs. Bernstone.
Mr. Bartholomew shut himself in his room. His work. You know what he's like when it's at his work.
Look after him, Miss Morstan.
There, now do try to calm down. Look, I'm sure everything will be all right.
I do hope you're all right, miss.
Come on.
Door! Gently, Mr. Shelton. I suggest that you go down to the police station and tell them everything that you...
Watson, we have a little time. Let's make the most of it.
Oh, this is an insoluble mystery to me. It grows dark.
The treasure chest of a place like this. The door has not been opened since last night. So how about these windows? Snibbed on the inside. No hinges, nothing. Roof quite out of reach, no drain pipe near. And yet someone has entered this way. Look, Watson. Is that scuff on the sill? Look at this, Watson. And this, and this. This is a very pretty demonstration.
But that's not a footmark.
Something much more valuable to us. This is the mark of a boot. And this, a very able and efficient ally. Could you use the window, snip it on the inside, and depart in the manner he originally came?
Well, the thing grows more unintelligible than ever. How about this mysterious ally? How did he get into the window? Inaccessible. The grate's too small. How then?
You will not follow my precept. How often have I said to you, that once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
He must have come in through the roof.
Excellent, Watson. Hold this lamp. Let us carry our research to the room above. The secret room in which the treasure was found. The skylight.
Holmes, a child has done this horrid thing.
A little ally has trod.
Indeed.
That is the accredited representatives of the... Rhesus Adonicus, as the old writers call it. What would that suggest to your mind?
Death from a powerful vegetable alkaloid.
To the right. Up this stair. Right track then, but I think you'll own now it was more by good luck than good guidance.
It was a piece of very simple reasoning.
Oh, come now, come. Never be ashamed to own up. But, still, we can't deny you hit the nail on the head sometime.
And his brother last night. Brother dies in a fit. Sholto walks off with the treasure. How about that? There's a flaw there somewhere. Let us apply common sense upon him.
Jones, that splinter, shaped instrument, were lying there on the table.
Confirms my theory in every respect. The house is full of Indian curiosities. All points to Thaddeus. But how did he escape? There is a trapdoor in the roof, Sergeant. Pray ask Mr. Sholto to step this way. You see, facts partly open.
It was I who opened it. You wish to clear with this charge?
Don't promise too much, Mr. Theorist. You may find it a harder matter than you think.
Not only will I clear, Mr. Sholto, but I will give you a description of the two men who were in this room last night. One was a poorly educated man, strong, active, with his right leg off, wearing a stump. I want to be able to introduce you to the pair of them.
You drunken hooligan, go on, get out of it, or I'll turn my dogs on you, all 43 of them.
I'm looking for Mr. Toby.
Oh, I've got a wiper in it.
I've come for Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Mister. There you are. He's a friend of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. And any friend of Mr. Sherlock Holmes is a friend of mine. I don't mind him. He'll just give you a nice friendly squeeze. I'll give him the run of the room because he keeps Toby.
Look at these ones. I found them in the gutter. Ah, thank you, Mrs. Bernstone. Do you smell the creosote? Othello Jones arrested not only Thaddeus, but the gamekeeper, the gatekeeper, and two of the Indian servants. Oh, Toby! Splendid. If we get to the land, now, listen, Pegleg, I'll leave to you. Leave the ally to me, come. Now, what the deuce is the matter with the dog?
He's lost his character for...
Mordecai Smith.
You come back.
Is there anything you'd like, Jack?
I'd like a shilling. Tapping at our window in the middle of the night, and away they went without a word to me.
No, this man. Ah, yes, of course. With the white funnel.
No, sir, black funnel.
Ah, yes, of course. Well, thank you, Mrs. Smith. Goodbye, Jack.
Why?
Get on the track of the Aurora.
It would take days, if not months, to search every wharf and landing place and yard between here and Greenwich.
What do you propose?
As our quarry has no reason to fear that he's being hunted, at the same time, mobilizing the Baker Street division of the Detective Police Force. In other words, the irregulars.
Five, scissors, razors, five, scissors, razors.
His well-known technical knowledge and...
Look, hats off! I've got your message. I bought them up sharp.
In future, they can report to you and you to me. I cannot have the house invaded in this way.
Oi, stop that.
Beck!
Sorry.
Now, I want you to find the steamboat Aurora.
Aurora?
Owner, Mordecai Smith. Black with gold trim. Richmond to Gravesend, both sides of the river.
Right, sir. How much?
Old scale of pay. Past this of ours ought to be. Wooden-legged men are not so common, and this other man must be unique. The Aborigines of the Andaman Islands may perhaps claim the distinction of being the smallest race upon this earth. They are a fierce, morose, and intractable people. They're capable of forming the most devoted friendships when their confidence has once been with poisoned arrows. These massacres are usually concluded by a cannibal. I can't sleep. This infernal problem is consuming me.
No news?
None. None whatsoever. This has been overcome.
Back of my head. Oi!
For repairs to a rudder. That's the order. I can't find anything to mess with it.
A water in the water by 6 o'clock tonight. Fully cold up and get waiting. Right!
It's this Norwood. Friend is a wonderful man and not to be beat.
Yes?
Sherlock Holmes.
What is it?
Are you Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
No, but I'm acting for him.
I've come about this afternoon.
But if you have any information, you may give it to me.
There's a reward.
I'm a police officer. As I was saying, Doctor, I consider your friend, Mr. Rogue, you would have made an actor, and a rare one. You had the proper workhouse cough. And those weak legs of yours, they're worth £10 each.
A police officer. I'm flattered. Jones.
Local station.
The affair were in my hands. I should have a body of police in the yard and arrested them when they came down.
Which would have been never. This man, Small, is a pretty shrewd fellow. Anything suspicious and he would lie snug for another week.
We must lie low and wait. At the heels of us.
Faster! Faster! This is the fastest one they've got!
Move the light more to the left.
What's happening on that boat? They're fighting. Peg leg. What a face.
So am I, sir. But I give you my word, gentlemen. I never laid hands on young Mr. Sholto.
Of course you didn't. Your little friend's dart killed him while you were still climbing.
Bloody! Hey, I just got a blood flash myself.
Another man at the engines and you'd never have caught us.
We've had enough of you tonight. Bring the captain, man, I'm warning you.
That's right, Constable. We're nearly at the steps. We cannot tell how far justice may have originally been on your side.
Though I can see that it's you that I have to thank for these bracelets on my wrist. Still, I bear no grudge for that. If you want to hear my story, I have no wish to hold it back. And what I say to you is God's truth. Every word of it. It's been a good support to me. So there I was, a cripple of 20. But I liked it out there. So I found myself a job as an overseer on an indigo farm. I was on horseback all day, so that was fine. But I was never in luck for long. Without a note of warning, the great mutiny was on us. I came back to the farm one evening to find my master and all his family had been murdered. I didn't wait. By that same evening, I was in the ford of Agra. More entrances than you can count. There were many gates, and because I was an ex-soldier and British, they put me in charge of one of them and gave me a couple of Sikhs who'd stayed loyal to us. It was a lonely place. My two Punjabis were experienced fighting men.
A quarter of the treasure.
But there are only 3 of us.
Jagdish Singh, my foster brother, he must have his share. There is no time, Sahib. Decide.
Well, provided the fort is in no kind of danger, I swear. One of their local Rajas, Rich's Creases, of course, he'd get in the guise of a merchant. And Jagdish Singh, Kartar's brother, to be the guide.
They come challenge him, Sahib, in the usual way, giving no cause for the fear.
What then?
We will do what has to be done.
Who goes there?
A box, Sahib. Old box. Having some family papers. No good to know. Sahib, I am no ordinary beggar. You will have money, Sahib.
If Ahmed had escaped, the whole affair would have come out. I should have been shot, most like. Which of you would have held back his musket? Kartar was for burning it. That's their religion. But such a fire was impossible. Jagdish was for throwing him down into the great ditch below the fort for the jackals to clean up. No doubt he was right. Inside were more gems than I could ever even have dreamed of. 143 diamonds of the first water, including the Great Mogul, the second largest stone in existence. He was our administrative officer, and he gave me a nice, cushy billet in the dispensary. He was as good and kind a Christian gentleman as I ever come across. Some people are born like that.
It's all up with me, Mawson.
With that advice, sir. Thank you indeed. But the fact is, being in the position I am, I need help.
sort of help. I need a partner.
Well, I'm sure Major Sholto and myself would like to help you. If we could.
We could at least talk about it. That is, of course, if we can agree as to terms. There's only one bargain a man in my position can make. In exchange for my freedom and that of my 3 companions, we shall give you a 5th share to divide between little yachts and yawls in Calcutta or Madras. Well enough to serve our purpose?
I think we may very well trust him.
We met the next morning in the small house.
In the army of Her Majesty Queen Victoria.
Do swear on the Holy Bible that this agreement will always remain sacred and binding to us.
Do swear.
Captain Morstan was as angry as I was. He swore to... That was not to be. To have my hands on his throat. That was my one thought. Funny little fella. Well, you, gentlemen, caught a glimpse of him yourselves, no doubt, last night. He was staunch and true as little Tonga. No man ever had a more faithful mate. Being by trade a fisherman, he had a goodish-sized native boat, and he agreed to try to escape with me. After many months, we worked our way across the world to London. Lindeman Convict Barracks and myself. I know now that I cannot have the use of it. No. I put the loot in a safe place.
I am sorry.
Oh, I'm glad the treasure is lost. It's been nothing but a curse to every man who has owned it. An early death to my poor father.
And slavery for life to me and my companions.
And I've gone rather far in bringing him here. I shall feel more at ease when I have our storyteller here under lock and key. I am obliged to you for your assistance. Good day to you, Dr. Watson, Miss Morstan.
I feel most ashamed that you, Mr. Holmes, and you... I'll impose on you no longer, gentlemen. You must be exhausted.
Yes, I confess the reaction is already upon me.
I'm so very grateful to you both.
Seems so unfair. What remains for you?
For me, the pleasure of having solved an interesting case, almost single-handed. And for you, no doubt, the pleasure.
What a very attractive woman.
Was she? I hadn't noticed.